You only get one shot at seeing the real Bonaire during your cruise, and it's easier than you think to blow it. I'm showing you the simple moves that turn a quick port stop into a standout memory in Bonaire. I'm going to help you avoid the common traps that leave travelers feeling rushed or disappointed. I'm going to try and make it easy for you to enjoy the best sights, flavors, and moments the island has to offer. And before we wrap up, there's one final Bonaire tip that could be the difference between a good day and a truly unforgettable one. So why do most cruisers miss the true magic of Bonaire? Bonaire is really kind of a under the radar port. When my wife and I when we did our first ABC cruise, I'd heard of Aruba, I'd heard of Curacao, never heard of Bonaire. I didn't put a whole lot of thought and effort into what we were going to do on the island. Well, I arguably thought that there was a 50-50 chance that we were going to actually spend that port day on board the ship just hanging out, because I didn't really think there was much to do in Bonaire. It's a tiny little island. I didn't really think there was much there. Well, I'm glad I did. Bonaire is often overshadowed by its bigger siblings, Aruba and Curacao, but to me, it's the most authentic and the least commercialized of the three islands. A lot of people stick close to the port, and I hope I don't mess this up too bad. Kralendik's port area is pleasant, but it's kind of small. Do yourself a favor and don't confuse the walkability of getting downtown with getting around the whole island. It's not quite that small. Without a plan, you're likely going to waste time deciding what to do and end up settling for nothing. So let's talk about what you're going to lose if you don't plan this right. Bonaire's beauty is in its reefs, its quiet beaches, and the slow pace of life there. And those things, you have to seek them out intentionally. Know this before you disembark. There are no chain stores. There are no crowds. This island is delightfully undeveloped compared to the others around it. To me, fewer crowds equal better experiences, but fewer conveniences. Transportation is kind of limited. Taxis aren't always waiting, so book ahead or plan to walk or rent a golf cart. A lot of people rent golf carts or take a local tour. Again, you can do the ship-based excursions. Our first one, it was an amazing excursion. It was, from a ship-sponsored one, but it really showed us the island. U.S. dollars are accepted, so no need to exchange currency. But remember, bring small bills for tips, for roadside purchases, things like that. Don't expect the locals to have change for $100 U.S. Respect for nature is huge in Bonaire. Bonaire it's a protected marine reserve. Reef-safe sunscreen is a must, and make sure to avoid touching the coral or any of the wildlife. The locals do not put up with that. So let's talk about where to explore. All right, first of all, golf cart rentals. One of the easiest and most fun ways to explore independently. Reserve them early because they only have a limited amount and they do sell out quickly. Be wise in your decisions as to what you drink if you're driving the golf cart. That is still considered a DUI, okay? So just don't do it. Snorkel tours or water taxis. Don't assume you need to scuba dive to see the reefs. Many of the best snorkel sites are right off the shore, so you can do snorkeling. We did a snorkeling excursion there one time, and it was absolutely amazing. They do have guided eco tours, which can be really, really good for learning about the flora, the fauna, the salt flats, and you don't have to guess where to go and what you're looking at, because you'll have a tour guide right there to tell you. Bike rentals, if you're active, if you want to, you can rent bicycles. From a bicyclist perspective, it's a pretty large island. So, ride for a couple miles, take a break, ride for a couple more, take a break. Stay hydrated. Again, it's literally right next door to Aruba, so it's going to be hot. Put on extra sunscreen. Do not overtax yourself. A couple of can't miss snorkeling spots and beaches, okay? Te Amo Beach is close to the port. Great spot for swimming or a good relaxed snorkel. There are local food trucks around there. The Thousand Steps Beach, beautiful, stunning setting. Limestone stairs, clear water. Ideal for confident swimmers and confident snorkelers. Not really for beginners here. You want to take a look and see if you think you can handle it, okay, but be wary, be cautious. Klein Bonaire. It's a tiny uninhabited island just off the shore, reachable by a water taxi. It offers some very pristine beaches, top tier snorkeling there. Donkey Beach. Donkey Beach is pretty cool. It's a local favorite. Bring your own snorkel gear and a towel. There are no crowds, no chaos, just beauty. Suggestion, unless you're on an organized snorkeling tour, bring your own, okay? Because the local rental place is very limited. And even some of the tours, if you do a non-ship snorkel excursion, the local tours are going to expect you to bring your own gear. So make sure you research that ahead of time. If you're doing a ship-based one, 99 times out of 100, they'll have it. It'll be mediocre equipment at best, but they'll have it. Besides that, do your research. Make sure you know whether they expect you to bring your own or they're going to provide them. The local food and culture, the Cactus Blue Bonaire, legendary food truck that offers lionfish burgers, a sustainable and delicious way to support reef health. The Kralingen Stroll, the colorful capital, the colorful capital is walkable and charming. Great for souvenir shopping and photos. It's really a cool place to hang out. The obligatory I love Bonaire sign, quick photo stop. Avoid staying too long because it does get crowded, and that's really not where the magic happens. Local ice cream shops. You got to check them out. There are some really cool ones. They've got flavors made with tropical fruits that are perfect for cooling off after your island adventure. And this is one of my personal favorites, the Bonaire Brewery. I am a craft beer fanatic, for lack of a better word, and we were down there, my wife and I, and we got off of the snorkeling excursion, and they let us off, I don't know, maybe 300 yards from our ship, and they said, yeah, your ship's right there, go ahead and walk back. Well, we saw, like a local little kind of neighborhood, and so and there was like a craft fair going on or something. So we decided to walk over there, and we're walking around, and my wife points out a building, and she's like, what, does that say brewery? And it's a very unassuming one-floor building, and yeah, like literally right on top of the entrance, it said brewery. And I'm like, all right, let's go check it out. We walk in. We were the only ones there at that point, and the husband and wife owners. The wife was behind the bar at the time, and we got to talking with her. And her husband showed up with their, I want to say, 1-year-old baby, and four of us and the baby. And one other bartender ended up just talking for about the whole afternoon. I tried every beer they had. We talked about brewing. We talked about, they grew up in Amsterdam and then they came down here. And that was the closest I've ever been to missing ship's movement, because we left at, I want to say 4:45, and all aboard time was 5 o'clock. I don't ever do that. I'm always on board an hour before. And I mean, we made it back, and we weren't the last ones on board, but that made my whole trip for me, just hanging out with them. They're really neat people. So if you get down there, hello, Ilio, come on. If you get to Bonaire, make sure you leave yourself an hour or two. And they have a full bar. They have a couple of types of hard liquor, so they can, like, my wife was drinking vodka tonic, so you can get something else besides beer. I mean, it's very unassuming, very relaxed. It was just cool. Some mistakes to avoid in Bonaire: don't wait until the last minute to plan, because Bonaire's a small island with limited transportation options and high demand rentals, meaning spur of the moment usually leads to disappointment. Spur of the moment decisions usually lead to walking. Okay. Avoid the cruise only tours. Meaning the cruise ship ones. Nothing wrong with them, but they're overpriced and they're kind of generic. Find independent vendors. Go to Viator, go to TripAdvisor. Reach out to me. I can make some suggestions. You're going to get excursions that will show you things, because they're local people. This is how they make their living. They're going to do everything they can to make sure that you have a good time and that you learn something about their country. Don't touch or stand on the coral. It damages a very, very fragile reef system, and the locals take it really seriously. Skip the overpriced shops at the pier. Explore the capital, Kralingen, a bit deeper. You're going to find better souvenirs. You're going to find more authentic shopping. And the final tip that makes the whole day better: just like Aruba, start early, get off the ship as quick as you can, make that first hour purposeful. Head straight to that top site, the one thing that you have to do. And then plan to end the day with a drink at a local restaurant, a swim in a nearby beach, or just an hour relaxing at a seaside bar. Get the activity done early in the day, the hard activity done early in the day before it gets super hot, and then just relax in the afternoon. That way you get back to the ship, you're not dragging, you're not exhausted, and you had a really good day. Here's a little extra tip for you. Spend that final 30 to 45 minutes at the Ocean Oasis Beach Club or Delphin's Beach. Great views, cold drinks, and it's only a short cab ride back or a short golf ride back. Focus less on checking off activities and more on creating the vibe that you want, the relaxed vibe or the adventure or whatever. Doing that, focusing on what you want, the type of day you want, that's how it's going to become an unforgettable stop for you. Now that you know how to make the most of Bonaire, you're going to need to know how to explore Curacao. Because if you don't, you might miss out on some of this island's best hidden gems. And I'm going to show you how to avoid that in this video here.